Welcome to a simple but powerful story that can slowly change the way you see your life, your habits, and your future. Many people believe that success comes from one big moment, one lucky chance, or one powerful decision. But the truth is much quieter and much deeper than that. Real change does not come like a storm. It comes like a small, steady rain that falls every day without making noise. Imagine if you could improve your life just a little bit every single day. Not in a stressful or difficult way, but in a calm and consistent way. At first, it may not feel important, and you may even doubt that such small actions can create any real difference. But if you stay with this story, you will begin to understand something very important. Small daily improvements, repeated again and again, can create a powerful transformation that feels almost magical when you look back at it later. In a peaceful place where nothing seemed to change, people lived the same life again and again, following routines that felt safe but also boring and unexciting. And even though they sometimes dreamed of doing something bigger or becoming something more, they often told themselves that they would start tomorrow or next week. But that tomorrow never really came. Days passed slowly, and then suddenly, years were gone, and many people felt stuck in the same place, with the same problems and the same fears, without understanding why nothing was improving. They believed they needed a big opportunity, a strong push, or a perfect moment to start changing their life. But because they were always waiting for something big, they ignored the small actions they could take every single day, and without those small actions, nothing ever moved forward. Then one day, a quiet idea started to grow, not like a loud announcement or a big event, but like a simple thought that slowly entered people's minds and stayed there. The idea was very simple. Improve just a little every day. At first, it sounded too easy, almost useless, and many people did not take it seriously because they were used to thinking that only big efforts bring big results. But a few people became curious and decided to test this idea in their own lives, not with big changes or difficult plans, but with very small steps that felt almost too easy to matter. One person decided to wake up just 10 minutes earlier and read a few pages of a book. Another person chose to practice speaking English for 5 minutes every day without worrying about mistakes. And someone else started writing a short paragraph daily, even if it was not perfect or impressive. In the beginning, nothing looked different, and if someone watched them from the outside, they would not notice any big change or improvement because the actions were small and quiet, and the results were not immediate. Some days felt easy, and some days felt difficult, especially when motivation was low or when they felt tired after a long day, but they continued anyway. Not because they always felt excited, but because they made a simple decision to stay consistent. They understood something important. Motivation comes and goes, but habits can stay if you protect them and repeat them daily. Even when they missed a day, they did not stop completely. Instead, they returned the next day and continued their small efforts without overthinking their mistakes. After some time, something interesting started to happen. Not suddenly, but slowly and naturally, like the sun rising every morning without making noise. Their minds became sharper, their confidence grew little by little, and the things that once felt difficult started to feel easier. The person who practiced English daily began to understand more words and speak more clearly, even though they were still making mistakes. And instead of feeling embarrassed, they started to feel proud of their progress. The person who read every morning noticed that their thinking improved and their focus became stronger. And the one who wrote daily began to express ideas more clearly and confidently. Meanwhile, the people who were still waiting for big changes continued to stay in the same place, watching others improve and wondering how it was happening. They asked questions like, "What is your secret?" Or, "How did you change so much?" And the answer they received was always simple and sometimes difficult to believe. "We just improved a little every day." At first, this answer sounded disappointing because it did not feel exciting or powerful, but over time, more people began to understand the truth behind it. Improvement is not about doing something big once. It is about doing something small again and again without stopping. One of the most important lessons they learned was that consistency is more powerful than intensity, because doing something small every day creates stronger results than doing something big only once in a while. They also learned patience, which is often difficult in a world where people want fast results and quick success. But real growth takes time, and just like a plant needs water every day to grow, your skills and abilities need regular effort to develop. When people accepted this truth, they stopped rushing and started focusing on daily actions instead of immediate results. There were still challenges, of course, because no journey is perfect, and there were days when they felt like giving up, days when progress felt invisible, and days when they questioned whether their efforts were worth it. But instead of stopping, they reminded themselves that progress is not always visible in the short term, and just because you cannot see the change today does not mean it is not happening. They learned to trust the process, even when it felt slow, and this trust became a powerful part of their mindset. Over time, daily improvement became more than just an idea. It became a way of living, a quiet discipline that guided their actions and decisions. They stopped comparing themselves with others and instead focused on becoming better than they were yesterday, even if the improvement was very small. This shift in thinking brought peace and confidence because they were no longer chasing perfection. They were building progress. One simple example showed this clearly. A learner who once struggled to speak English started with just a few minutes of daily practice, reading simple sentences, listening carefully, and speaking slowly without fear of mistakes. In the beginning, it felt uncomfortable and even frustrating, but they continued day after day, and slowly, their understanding improved, their vocabulary grew, and their confidence increased. After many days of consistent effort, they were able to communicate clearly, something that once felt impossible. Daily improvement works like building something strong with small pieces, like placing one brick every day to build a wall. At first, the wall is not visible, and the work feels slow. But if you continue placing bricks without stopping, one day you will see a strong and complete structure in front of you. The same is true for your skills, your confidence, and your life. There is also an important warning hidden in this idea, because just as small positive actions can build a better future, small negative habits can slowly create problems. Wasting time every day, avoiding learning, and staying in your comfort zone may feel harmless in the moment, but over time, these actions can keep you stuck in the same place. So every day you are building something, whether you realize it or not. The question is simple but powerful. What are you building with your daily actions? You do not need a perfect plan or a perfect start, and you do not need to wait for the right time, because the right time is now. Start with something small, something easy, something you can repeat tomorrow and the next day. Maybe you read one page, learn a few new words, speak for a few minutes, or write a short paragraph. These actions may look small, but they carry the power to change your future. Some days will be strong and some days will be weak, but both are part of the journey. And what matters most is not perfection, but consistency. When you continue, even in small ways, you are moving forward, and over time, those small steps will take you further than you ever expected. One day, you will look back and realize that the change you were waiting for did not come from one big moment, but from many small actions repeated every day. You will see how far you have come, and you will understand that daily improvement is not just a habit, but a powerful way to create a better life. So start today. Take one small step, and then take another tomorrow, because that is the true power of daily improvement.